what's embarrassing about this loss, to me at least, the most embarrassing out of everything, is you lost to one guy, Colorado.
They got hope.
One guy.
Oh,
I don't forgot his name. I don't even know who he is.
And hope's a dangerous thing, because when teams get hope, they start to believe. And when teams start to believe, they play to their best abilities. And that's what happened. As we all know, after that,
what did I just watch? If every single one of you didn't have that same reaction when you saw the end of that Stanford and Colorado game, I don't know. That's the only thing I know to say. What did I just watch? What did we just watch? And by the way, shout out to everybody. As soon as the game was over, he was like, man, I got to see what Matt's got to say. I appreciate y'all, but I got to say this one more time. What did I just watch? I'm still... And when the game ended, the game's over, by the way. This isn't like my live reaction. Like, it's not, like, there's not no last second. The game's over. And even when the game over, I sat there for about 3 minutes, turned off the TV. I watched it downstairs. I turned off the TV. And I was like, how did we even get here? Now, before we even get, I'm talking, we got a lot to say. Hold on. I do want to make this a short video, but at the same time, I got so much to say. First things first, let me give you my perspective on how crazy life works. I said I was this close at halftime, getting up here, setting up the camera, saying, yep, Stanford sucks. Colorado's just way better than them. Game over. I'll see you boys and girls in the morning. Because for those of you that don't know, on Saturday mornings, your boy Matt, I wake up at like 5 a.m. and I run in the mornings and do all that. So I'm probably going to get like 2 hours of sleep tonight. It is what it is. I ain't even mad because that game tonight was worth staying up for. But my point is, I was ready at halftime to get up here, make the video. I was this close. Y'all don't even understand it. I almost posted a video and I would have looked like the dumbest person on the planet if I would have went to bed. I was about to go to bed. I really was. At halftime, matter of fact, to give you a perspective, I took my shower. Took my shower before bed and I was like, yep, I'll take my shower at halftime. And after Colorado scores a couple more touchdowns, yeah, then I'll make the video probably like midway through the third quarter. Man, just thinking of how dumb I would have looked when I woke up this morning and how mad I would have been knowing I missed a great game. If you'd have told me, if I went to bed at halftime, right, and I would have woke up and you would have called me and said, yo, Matt, can you believe Stanford came back and won? I said, man, what are you talking about? You talking about ping pong? Was there a volleyball game on or something? Was Stanford playing Colorado in a different sport? There is no, I watched it. And I'm still having a hard time believing Stanford came back and won this game. They look like a middle school football team in the first half. And a lot of you are going to be like, oh, Matt, good one. You know, you're trying to be. I'm not being funny. Stanford looked like a middle school football team. They couldn't even throw a 5-yard pass. They're swapping in quarterback. They don't even know they didn't even have a quarterback. They're trying to figure out the quarterback situation halfway through the game, halfway through the middle of the season. And they came back and won this game. You ever heard the phrase, tell it two halves? If you were to look at the phrase, let's put it this way. Tell it two halves. If that was like a phrase in a dictionary, there'd be a picture of this game right here next to it. The tell it two halves, man. The tell it two halves. And I'm just so glad I did not make this video at halftime because I can't get over that. I was so close to doing it. I even set up the camera, set up everything, had batteries in my microphone, this microphone, and I was ready to go and I didn't do it. Sorry if it seems like I'm all, what's the word I'm looking for, combobulated here. Because I am. Did you watch the game? It doesn't make sense. Colorado, I was ready to get, I already had some notes written down on my phone. I was like, yeah, Colorado, they're taking care of business. This was an impressive win to me because you went out there and beat a team you should have beat and you handled business. And that's always an impressive win to me. I already had what I was going to say for this video down at halftime. I had everything. I was like, yep, I'm going to come up here and say Stanford sucks and Colorado, they're looking good. Everything's going like according to plan. They're 5-2. I can't get over it, guys. Okay. Let me take a deep breath. Sometimes in life, the only thing you can do is laugh it off, smile, and say, hey, it is what it is. Let's talk about the game itself and break it down. Like I was saying, the first half, Colorado, you couldn't play it any better. It was your dream half. You're up 29-0 at half. Offense is playing amazing. You're outplaying them from not just on offense, but in every aspect of the game. Your defense, too, you held a team to 0 at halftime. There was a certain point at halftime I was like, well, dang, Colorado might get their first shutout of the season. White Randy thought that, not me, because I don't know what I was thinking. I should have knew Colorado's defense eventually would fold, but I think it was just a combination of two. I was about to say Arizona State, Stanford. They just turned into a completely different team, and I'll tell you what changed the game. You know what play changed the game? Colorado's driving in the second half. It's 29-0, and they go for it in their own territory on 4th down. What happens in the next play or two? Stanford scores a touchdown. Then the next drive, they get a nerve stop. Colorado, I think they punted it to a 2 or 3. The next play, Stanford has a 97-yard touchdown pass. Momentum, if you ever played sports, you know this. Momentum's a real thing. I can't explain it. It's the one thing you can't explain. If you've never played sports, you won't understand it. If you have played sports, you will understand it. Momentum is one of the craziest things out there, and we saw it in full effect tonight. It's 29-0. Colorado doesn't get a 4th down. It kind of felt like they're being a little cocky, going for it on 4th down in their own territory. Or maybe it wasn't cocky. They probably thought they'd get it. But realistically speaking, you probably shouldn't have went for it. And you don't get it. But even I, at the same time, was like, no big deal. You're up 29-0. Stanford hasn't done anything all night, and here we are making this video. Stanford won the freaking ball game. I think that was the play of the game that shifted all the momentum, because right after that, when Stanford scored a touchdown, when their defense came out there in the next drive, you saw the intensity. They're like, hey, the offense scored. This is how sports, it's momentum. The defense they didn't have that mood of, oh, man, we can't stop Shadur and Colorado. They're kind of slow. No, that front seven, they're like White Randy back in 7th grade PE class. Because y'all don't know, one time, clip up here. You know, I played mainly wide receiver, a little wildcat quarterback. But I could do it all. You know, I'm 6'1", 200 pounds. This is in 7th grade, by the way. Still 6'1", 200 pounds, but it's a different conversation. I didn't grow, all right? I peaked in middle school. But my point is, our defensive end didn't show up one day, so I had to play defensive end, and that's how it works. When I was doing good on offense, it carried over to my defense. Same thing in basketball. And if you're a hooper, come on now. If you're a hooper, you know this. Every hooper does this. Right after they get their first bucket of the game, they start pulling up their shoulder. Hey, switch. Hey, I got ball. Start closing out extra fast right after that first bucket. Everybody does this. You do it in football, you do it in basketball. That's what happened for the Stanford team. And by the way, don't act like you don't do that in basketball, because every hooper does that. But on a serious note, the Stanford team, they were doing that. And they were getting stops. They got multiple stops, back to back to back. We got to bring out the whiteboard, all right? We got to bring out the whiteboard. I'm going to break this down for y'all. All right, here we go. Of course, I don't have the board positioned to where it needs to be positioned. I still don't have a position. Oh, okay, there we go. I wrote down momentum. First half, here was their momentum. Colorado, it starts out right here when the game starts. Starts out right there. You could lean in a little bit to Colorado because they're 4-2. It is home field advantage. But by the end, so this is start. We'll say, well, you get the point. We'll just say it starts there. Well, at the end of the first half, the momentum was about right here. Here's your ball of momentum. Yeah, you can say it pretty good. Colorado has all the momentum in the world. All the momentum. Nobody's going to disagree with that. I don't think so. But then what happened was, it's 29-0. And guess what? Stanford, they get the defensive stop. And barely, just barely, this ball went back a little bit. Right there. Went back to right here. Yeah, you can see that pretty good. It went back a little bit, but nothing too crazy. You still have 29-0. But Stanford, they got to stop. They're feeling good. They just scored. They just hit a free throw. They just hit a layup. Blah, blah, blah. They're closing out. They got that black Air Force energy. And then they get a touchdown. They don't get the 2, but who cares? You got some points. Now the defense has got super, and this is scary. When a defense has super black force energy, that's scary. I'll leave it at that. If you know, you know.
Well, the ball goes back here. Momentum's right here. But still, you're up 29-6, Colorado. Everything's all right. Well, then, Stanford scores. Again, they get a stop. Don't get the 2, but who cares? 29-12. And at this point in time, when it's 29-12, I'm going to move the momentum ball back. Momentum ball's right here. I'll make it real big. This is when I felt like Stanford started to believe. Did I spell believe wrong? Matt, you idiot. Believe, and they gained hope. And I told y'all this. I used to do this when I played, and my coaches always tell me this. Whenever you're up on a team like you are 29-0 at half, you gotta step on their throats. Because the most dangerous thing, or I was gonna say things, but the most dangerous thing in sports, is hope. Because when a team gets hope, a team that's not supposed to win, Stanford, they get hope, which they got when they cut it to 29-12. I don't think they had hope at 29-6 because they're just happy to score. But when it's 29-12, they're like, hey, wait a minute. They're looking up the scoreboard. And I've been in a position like this. They're looking up the scoreboard going, well, dang, we scored another touchdown here. We're in this thing. They got hope. Draw the arrow to it. And hope's a dangerous thing because when teams get hope, they start to believe. And when teams start to believe, they play to their best abilities. And that's what happened. As we all know, after that, 29-19, and I can do this all day. You know what happened after. They just cut it, and this ball of momentum kept going back, and back. And even when Stanford was trailing in this game, I felt like they had, you see this all the time. Momentum isn't the score, okay? Stanford had more momentum. Here's the halfway point. Stanford had more momentum even when they were losing than Colorado, okay? And you'll see this in sports, in the NBA, college basketball, anywhere. You'll see a team with all the momentum at the end of the game still lose the game because the comeback effort wasn't enough. But when this game went in overtime, when the kicker made the field goal to make it 36-36? Oh, dude. All the momentum in the world is right here. Sure, Colorado scored on first. It doesn't matter. Colorado, this game should have been over. Stanford had all the momentum. So there's your little momentum chart if I had to break it down for you. Teacher Matt is in the building. Hold on, I think I got to reset my camera. Yeah. Give me a second, guys. I got to reset my camera. Oh, there we go. All right, should be, wait. Check the mic. Yep, should be ready to go. And that's all I'm really going to write down. I could write down so much stuff, but I just wanted to write that down. Now, we talked about the first half. The second half, we talked a little bit about that. And let's talk about the last, I guess you'd say, couple of drives, if y'all don't mind. To give y'all some perspective, I am not a Colorado fan. I know it may seem like it because I talk about Colorado all the time. I just think they're entertaining to talk about. It's one of my favorite teams to keep up with. I love Coach Prime and everything he's doing. So if you were to consider me a Colorado fan, that's cool, but I'm an Alabama fan. So this is as unbiased as it gets. What's embarrassing about this loss, to me at least, the most embarrassing out of everything, is you lost to one guy, Colorado. One guy. I done forgot his name. I don't even know who he is. And I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but the guy was a nobody heading into the game. Nobody knew who he was. Hold on. Let me pull up his name. I already forgot. It's hard to. It's like Elick Ayomanor. I don't know how to say it. They was saying it. Dude had 13 catches for 294. He almost put up a 300 burger on you. And what's sad about this is Colorado was like, all right, we'll put Travis Hunter on them. And I love me Travis Hunter, but I'll just be honest with y'all, and I know Travis probably gonna watch this. It's no disrespect, my boy. You're still a great player, one of the best players in the country. You couldn't stop him. Travis couldn't stop. Nobody could stop him. It was pick your poison. Whoever you put on him, it was going to burn. Now, granted, I will say this. Travis Hunter did a way better job than the other guy that was covering because the other guy was getting just burnt left and right. Because Travis Hunter, he was allowing the slant route, but he'd stop it after 5 or 6 yards. The other guy was just getting killed. There was one drive in the second half. He ran the same slant route 5 plays in a row. I couldn't stop him. I had never seen anything like that at the collegiate level. Never. That offensive coordinator was like me when I was playing my little brother at NCAA 13. I kept running the same play and was like, hey, until you stop it, I'm going to keep doing it. And guess what? Colorado couldn't stop it, and that's what's embarrassing. 13 catches for 294 yards. The second leading receiver in this game had 3 catches for 38 yards. You lost to one guy. And it reminds me of my middle school coach. We were playing a team that had a guy, and this is basketball, not even football.
We was playing a team that had a guy who was like 6 foot, pretty much LeBron James of middle school. And if you play AAU, you know how this goes. This wasn't even AAU. This was, regular season ball. And our coach told us before the game, I don't care if we lose to this team, but we're not going to lose to one player. So we triple teamed them, and we lost. His other teammates made plays, but our coach was happy about it. He said, hey, I told y'all before the game he wasn't going to beat us, and he did it. And that's actually more satisfying to lose that way. I just can't believe. At what point in time do you double team a guy? They didn't double team him. You just got to put 2 guys on him. It's embarrassing, man. In the end of the game, let's give some credit to Stanford. I always forget to do that. Give credit to the winning team. Because it's a combination of 2 things. Number one, Colorado sold the bag, the defense, and even you could say the offense sold the bag in the second half because the offense was shaky. They only scored, 7 points heading into overtime in the second half. They got outscored 36, right, to 7 by Stanford. Stanford's one of the worst teams in the country. This is a bad loss, man. This is a bad loss, and this is one of those losses that could linger over to the following week. I do believe Colorado has a bye week next week, and the mojo in that locker room's got to be at an all-time low, man. And now this Colorado football team's got to deal with this heartbreaking loss for not just 7 more days, but 14 days until you go out there and play again. And I don't even know who they play, but that's a completely different conversation for a different day. There was 4 plays where you had offsides or 12 men on the field? Dude, it's D1 football. How does that happen? Stanford sucks, and that's not happening to them. Got to get it together, man. I guess you could give credit to Stanford's field goal kicker for nailing the kicks, but it's more so Colorado they choked. That's all it was. They choked, and it was at home. And also, I ain't even talked about it. There's so many things I got to talk about. I'm all over the place. Shedeur Sanders, buddy, what are you doing at the end of the game? As much as I've praised you up until this point, that was just not Brady mode. He calls himself, I'm going into Brady mode. Well, that was the opposite of Brady mode. That was inexcusable. I don't even got to say anything about that because he knows that was dumb. At bare minimum in a situation like that, I get it. You want to score a touchdown, you want to make a play. You got to have 3. You got to have points. So at least you have a chance to win. And that was only 3rd down. You still had 4th down. Y'all could have went for it. But throwing an interception, you're just asking to lose. And that's what happened because you don't know. You could have stopped for that Stanford team. They were gassed. The one guy they were throwing it to at the end of the game, he couldn't even breathe. He was walking on half of his routes at the end of the game and still cooking y'all. Man, there's so many more things I could say. Heck, I might talk about this tomorrow when I go to sleep and actually have a full night's rest and actually can comprehend what I just watched. I'm going to rewatch some of this film in the morning before the 11 a.m. games. I can't believe it, man. You're up 29-0 against one of the worst teams in the country and blow it. That's all I got. I may talk about this tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts down below. But